Jason here for another quick tutorial, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create a very simple write-on animation, as if the text and individual letters are being drawn on, like we are seeing here in this example that I created earlier. The quickest way to do this would be to have a mask animating from left to right, or to use the text animator to fade on each letter one at a time. But to really have it look and feel as if it's being drawn on realistically, we really need to have the line itself animate, or at least give the appearance of it animating. So if I was to pause this, the animation follows the line of the text as if it is being drawn on by a pen. So let's jump in and create this animation. The first thing we will want to do is pick a font. There are many websites you can find a font from. Defont's a good one, but I'm looking through fonts.adobe. And if you have Creative Cloud, then you can go to the same website, and there are a number of free fonts we can choose. And we're looking for a cursive font, so if you go to the left and select cursive, and you can go through and find a font that you're happy with and you think will work for your animation. The one I used in the example and the one I'll be using today is called Mina, so you should be able to search for that if you want to use the same one. If not, pick one you're happy with and click Activate, so you can use that in After Effects. So in After Effects, I'm going to create a new composition. And let's just call this Handwriting, or whatever you want. I want mine 1920 by 1080. And I'm going to use the same background color I had in the example. Click OK. Okay, now we have our composition. What we want to do is go up to our text tool at the top here, and we can click into the window and we can type in our word. I'm just going with the word handwriting for now. I already have my font selected, but if you go to your character and you can find your font and you can change the color in here as well. I'm just going to go a bit darker. Let's go OK. I'm just going to also align that centrally. It doesn't need to be centered, but just in case, it's always handy to have it centered when you're starting. And let's just zoom in slightly. Okay, there's our word. And with our layer selected, we're going to go up to our pen tool. And what we're going to do now is trace our letter with the pen tool, creating masks on our text layer. If this wasn't selected, we will create a new layer, a new shape layer. We want these to be masks, so we need to make sure this layer is selected. And the first point I'm just going to make just above where we want to start, just so it wipes from off to on. If it was too far down or over the letter itself, there would be a section of that letter visible at the very start, which is not what we want. So if you make sure that point is just above, and then we're going to click and drag to create vertexes on our mask, and we're going to trace the basic shape of our letters. We will adjust this at the end just to get this a bit closer to our letters, but for now, if we just get the basic shape, then we can go from there. And at the end, I'm just going to again click just off where I want it to finish. And this next bit, we want a completely different mask. So if we click on our layer again, that will reset that mask, that will complete that mask. And if we click again, we will create a completely new mask. So I'm just going to do this next bit of this H. Then click on our handwriting again. And this next section looks like it would be one long mask. If you can do yours in one long mask, then that's great. But if there are any breaks in it, like there is with my H, then it is always good to do a separate mask. But this section will be one long mask. It's always good to follow the path a pen would if it was drawing it on a piece of paper. You don't have to necessarily, but it's just a good way of understanding the link between each letter and where it needs to go. Like this D, for example, it would come to here possibly, and then it would go back on itself. You can't always make a new point where a mask already exists. So if we click just near it, and then we can use the arrows on the keyboard just to nudge it into position. So I'm going to have it go back on itself, then up here, and then again back down, much like a pen would in one continuous motion. So I'm just going to finish the rest of this word, and I will see you in a second. Okay, that's fine for now. Once you're happy with the mask, you can go back and adjust this later on. Once we have our animation on, we'll be able to see where it does need adjustments, so don't worry about making it too perfect for now. What we're going to do is, again, with our layer selected, we're going to go to our effects and presets, and we're going to search for stroke. And here it is under generate, so you can always go up to effect, generate, and then stroke. And then we're going to bring our stroke onto our handwriting layer, or whatever your layer is called. And what we're going to do is select all masks. If yours is just one mask, you can just have that mask selected, but it's always good practice just to tick all masks, just so it does use all the masks rather than just one. And we want stroke sequentially ticked as well, so that's fine. And then on this bottom drop down, we're going to click or select reveal original image. Then on this end, we're going to move this to 0, create a keyframe with our marker at the very start. Then we're going to move forward to whenever we want this to be finished or drawn on. And we're going to put this back to 100. That second keyframe will automatically appear. If we press U on the keyboard, we will see those two keyframes. So we can, now they're created, move them around. Or if we did create that first one, here, for example, we can move that to the very start, or if we don't want it to draw on immediately, we can move it along to wherever we want it to start. And then let's just play this through and see how it looks. Already that's looking pretty good, but you will notice that it's not completing the whole width of our letters. If I was to turn this off, you will see our initial word is a lot thicker. That is because our brush size is too small. So I'm just going to up the brush size to 5. Turn it off and on. Yep, 5 looks fine. It might be too thick. And a good way of knowing is bits like this, for example, on this T, or if I went straight to the beginning on the H. If I just zoom in, you'll see that we're getting parts of this section where it crosses over, which we don't want to see yet. So 5 is too big. Let's drop it down to 4. 3 might be fine. And this is where we adjust our mask. So let's move that down slightly to there. Zoom out. 3 might be fine. We could even maybe go to 2.5. That looks like it'll work. And then, yep, we can't see any crossover here. But if I was to turn this off and on, you'll see the thickness isn't quite right. So I am going to just leave that on 3. And there will be bits like we have on this bit here where I can see it's not quite as thick as it should be. And that will be because our mask isn't quite in the correct position. So this is where we're going to go through. I'm just going to adjust our mask to make sure there's no bits that are overlapping and every bit of the text is being revealed. Okay, and there we go. What I'm going to do is on this last keyframe, I'm just going to select, right click, and go down to Keyframe Assistant and Easy Ease In. I'm going to go to our graph editor and make sure that I have Edit Speed Graph selected from this button here, Edit Speed Graph, and I'm just going to drag this across just so it eases into that animation at the end and it finishes off nice and slow. There we go. That might look horrible, but let's see in a second. It's not too bad, but it's going way too quick at the start, which I don't like. So I'm just going to ease it in at the start, maybe. I'm just going to drag that out a bit so it finishes a bit later. There we go, and that is how we can animate handwriting. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.